Right now, you are probably sitting down. Your posture is slumped, your back is curved, and your eyes are locked onto a glowing screen. You feel a familiar, subtle restlessness creeping into your legs. A tiny, nagging urge tells you to stand up, to stretch, or to walk around the room. But you ignore it because you have work to do. Why does simply staying still feel like an uphill battle against your own body? You might think it is just a lack of focus or modern stress. But the real answer is far stranger, reaching deep into the dirt of our evolutionary past. Your discomfort is not a flaw in your biology. It is a highly sophisticated survival mechanism that kept your ancestors alive for millions of years. Imagine a creature that thrives by staying perfectly still. A plant can sit in the soil for centuries without ever feeling the need to migrate. An ambush predator can wait for hours in the brush without moving a single muscle. But humans are built entirely differently. For 99% of our history, to stop moving was to invite death. If your ancestors sat still for too long, they did not find food. If they remained stationary in the open, they became food for something else. Your entire biology was forged in a world where motion meant survival. Why do we expect our ancient bodies to adapt perfectly to a plastic chair? When you force yourself to sit still for hours, your brain interprets this lack of motion as a biological crisis. Dr. Mark Hamilton, a leading researcher in inactivity physiology, discovered something remarkable about the human body when it stops moving. The moment your thighs hit a chair, the electrical activity in your leg muscles completely shuts down. Your body enters a state of metabolic hibernation. The enzymes that break down fats in your bloodstream drop by up to 90%. Your good cholesterol levels plummet, and your insulin effectiveness takes a massive hit. Your brain looks at this sudden drop in activity and panics. It assumes you are trapped, injured, or starving. Is it any wonder your legs start to fidget? Fidgeting is not a sign of a distracted mind. It is your nervous system desperately throwing life rafts to your metabolism. When you tap your foot or bounce your knee, you are performing micro movements that keep your blood circulating. Your brain is trying to force you to move because it knows that stagnation is lethal in the wild. Our ancestors walked an average of 6 to 9 miles every single day. They climbed, dug, carried, and ran across vast landscapes just to survive the week. Their brains rewarded this intense physical effort by flooding their systems with feel-good chemicals. Movement was the default state of human existence. Sitting still was a luxury reserved only for the dead or the dying. Consider the work of anthropologist Dr. David Reichlin, who studies the evolutionary origins of human exercise. He discovered that when humans run or walk long distances, our brains release high levels of endocannabinoids. These are the same chemicals responsible for the famous runner's high. Why would evolution design a brain that rewards you for burning precious calories? Because in the ancient world, the individuals who enjoyed moving were the ones who found the most food. They outlived the lazy ones, passed on their genes, and created you. You are the direct descendant of the ultimate endurance athletes. Your brain expects you to be chasing down game, not answering emails. When you sit still in a modern office, you are starving your brain of the very signals it needs to feel safe. A stationary body tells the ancient amygdala that something is deeply wrong. Without the feedback of moving muscles, your stress hormones begin to rise slowly over time. Cortisol pools in your system, creating that vague, unfocused anxiety you feel at the end of a long desk session. You try to cure this anxiety with coffee, sugar, or social media scrolling. But your brain does not want a digital distraction. It wants a physical relocation. How can a mind feel at peace when the body is trapped in a cage of convenience? This mismatch between our past and our present explains a bizarre phenomenon known as the evolutionary trap. We spent millions of years designing a modern world that eliminates the need for physical effort. We built cars so we do not have to walk. We created escalators so we do not have to climb. We engineered comfortable couches, soft office chairs, and desk setups that maximize our total immobility. We won the battle against physical hardship, but in winning that battle, we accidentally created an environment that our ancient biology utterly despises. We designed the perfect world for our comfort, but the worst before society forces them to conform to chairs. A toddler does not sit still because a toddler is acting on pure, unadulterated human instinct. They run until they collapse, sleep deeply, and then get up to run all over again. We spend the first 2 decades of a person's life training them to fight this natural urge. We put them in desks for 8 hours a day and punish them if they squirm. By the time you become an adult, you have learned to suppress the instinct to move. But suppression does not mean elimination. The urge simply mutters quietly under your skin, manifesting as restless leg syndrome, lower back pain, and mental fatigue. Your body is essentially a complex chemical factory that requires movement to spark its reactions. When you walk, the physical impact of your feet against the ground sends pressure waves through your arteries. Dr. Dick Tyson, a professor of cardiovascular physiology, demonstrated that these waves actively increase blood flow to the brain. More blood flow means more oxygen, sharper cognitive function, and better emotional regulation. When you sit completely still, that internal pump slows down to a crawl. Your brain goes into a low-power mode, making you feel foggy and exhausted. You think you are tired because you worked hard, but you are actually tired because you did not move at all. What is the solution to this modern biological standoff? You do not need to quit your office job and live in the woods like a hunter-gatherer. You simply need to stop treating your restlessness as an enemy to be defeated. The next time your leg starts bouncing under your desk, do not force it to stop. Recognize it for what it truly is, a message from your ancestors. Your body is telling you that it is alive, that it is ready for action, and that it remembers the open savanna. Stand up for 5 minutes, walk down the hallway, or stretch your arms toward the ceiling. Give your ancient brain the signal that you are still moving, still exploring, and still surviving. Tonight, when you finally finish your work, you will likely shut down your laptop and walk away from your desk. You will stretch your legs, feel the tension release from your lower back, and take a deep, clear breath. You will realize that the discomfort you felt all day was never a sign of laziness or a broken mind. It was the beautiful, stubborn voice of your evolutionary history refusing to be silenced by a chair. You are not meant to be a stationary object in a sterile room. You are a creature of endless motion, built to traverse worlds and conquer distances. And right now, as you prepare to take your next step, your ancient brain is finally at peace.